Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody. I'm Jean from Pranalink. Welcome to Pranalink. Pranalink is a meeting place connecting the world's energies, collaborating together for energy workers to educate, experience, exchange, and engage with others around the globe. We're a worldwide platform for like-minded people interested in holistic energy-related products or services. If you have any event or training you would like to share, register as a blogger or vendor, please contact us and come join us and register as a customer, affiliate business owner, or a guest blogger. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today.
Rajeshwari, yeah.
Yes, okay. A Celestial Souls workshop. She's from Kochi, India. A born psychic turned cartomancer, an intuitive reader and medium. The other side has always been a fascination to her: mysticism, energy healing, crystals, herbs, and more. Her experience is tarot card reading for more than 20 years. She's a certified practitioner in NLP, tarot, oracle, runes, Wicca, and mediumship. She has her own office and she conducts online workshops as well as one-on-one private sessions. Welcome, and thank you for joining us, everybody, today.
Thank you for that. Okay, so today we start with the Celestial Souls workshop, and we're doing a walk with tarot. So just a little about me. I'm a born psychic medium, and I've been blessed with parents who have thought of it as a gift and encouraged me into my spiritual journey of finding myself. I started tarot back when I was 16 years old. And this was when we hardly knew what tarot was in India. And I work as an education consultant by profession and a cartomancer or a candle maker by passion. So that's just me. And I often say that I don't fit into a particular box because I feel like I'm all over there. Yeah. So how I started Celestial Light, it initially started off as a journey where I wanted to help and guide others with what I know. But then this particular path kind of opened up new spiritual ways for me as such. And the name Celestial Light is a dedication to my parents who have been my guiding light and my constants. And they've helped me overcome everything that life's thrown at me. So today we conduct workshops, circles to help others who are following the same path and to understand that spirituality does not mean trying to live the life of a saint, but to explore everything in the world with acknowledgement, practicing mindfulness. So this is what we normally do. At Celestial Light, we offer tarot readings, workshops, oracle and rune readings, oracle workshops, and a little of candle making and candle making workshops too. So before I begin, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box and I will answer this once I complete the presentation. Yeah. So what are we going to understand today? So one of the things that we're going to look at is what is tarot, why more and more people around the world are seeking it, how to choose your own deck, the questions to ask and how it needs to be framed, the division of the cards, and a glance at the cards to help you with your tarot readings. So we will not be able to dive deep into it because the understanding and learning the tarot takes a long time. So this is just a glance to help you with your tarot readings. So, yeah. So what is tarot? Tarot is a divination method which is used to gain insight about a situation, and it taps into your intuition and the energy of the universe to help you give a good reading. So normally we say that it is with practice. The tarot kind of has a lot of in-depth meanings, and these kind of meanings, and as any tarot reader would say, they are constantly learning how they can improve themselves, because there's always a new meaning come up in every reading that they do. It's been around more than 20 years now. And with every reading, there's like some new meaning to a particular card that I still find. So tarot is always about, tapping into your intuition and listening to what your intuition says. Yeah. And a lot of people mistake tarot for something like, they feel like tarot is a lot more like astrology, where in astrology, when you go into it, your planet alignments, and there's so many things that you look at, and that's mostly it. We say that's set in stone. That's how it's going to be, and they just give you ways of how you can overcome a particular period of your life. But with tarot, what happens is it's a kind of guidance where you get to choose whether you want to do a particular thing or get into a particular relationship or a career, and what is the outcome of it. So always we'll be getting into the details of how you ask questions. So the way you're going to ask questions is what is going to give you a much more clearer reading. Now, why tarot? Tarot is mainly used for guidance. Believe it or not, it actually helps in healing trauma too. Yeah, it gives you an insight into the future, and it helps you in making the choices. It helps in conveying hidden messages. And also, this card is very helpful for those of you who are actually going through some kind of a spiritual transformation. So if you are just starting off on a spiritual pathway, the tarot cards is one of the best methods on how you can connect on a very spiritual level. And I always say it's a way to nurture the soul as such. Yeah. Now, this is something a lot of new readers make a mistake of. They tend to pick oracle cards and say that it is a tarot card. So there's a huge difference between an oracle card and a tarot card, and that's what we're looking at. Now, if you look at the screen, you will see we have the Empress card and the Four of Wands. And then you have a card saying perfect timing, and you have a card which is drawn back down. So now if you look at it, the Empress and the Four of Wands are what belongs to the tarot. Tarot has a definitive number of cards. So you have a number of 78 cards, and there is a particular pattern in your tarot card. But an oracle does not have any pattern. It can range anyway. I have one oracle deck which has only about 12 cards. So it can range from 12, and there are cards which are a little more than 80s and 90s too. So it depends on whichever deck you are buying. And the oracle, it kind of looks at a particular theme. Now, if you look at Bridget, which I have on the screen, which says "Don't back down," this is your goddess oracle card which is coming. That's something that I have. So each oracle card has a particular theme that they kind of stick on to, and you can always look at oracle cards because they're much more easy to interpret. The message is right in front of you in the oracle. But then when you're looking at tarot, you will not be able to make sense if you're absolutely new and you get the Four of Wands. You may need to refer the guidebook in order to understand what it actually says, or even when the Empress comes in. So like I said, the tarot has a set definition of cards, and that's a 78 number of cards is what we have. So just showing you now, this is your basic Rider-Waite deck, and this is something which everyone kind of recommends when you start off with tarot. But then I personally, I tell my students who do workshops with me to go for the classic tarot. So I have a mini classic tarot. And if you look at the images, it is a lot, I'm not sure if you can see that. It's a lot more clearer and colorful, and the expressions which are shown on that are also quite clear. So it makes it a lot more easy with interpreting. So normally when I tell my students to pick up a card, I would ask them to either go for the Rider-Waite, or I would ask to go in for the classic tarot. And I think the pictures are a lot more colorful, making it a lot more easier for beginners to start with their readings. Yeah. So this is the basic difference between a tarot and an oracle card. Now, the next one, how do you choose your deck? I would say when I initially got my Rider-Waite deck, I didn't have many options. Someone I knew just told me Rider-Waite is one of the most easiest cards that you can go with. So initially, I didn't know how to go about with it, and I remember ordering for the Thoth tarot cards, and it did not connect in any way. And that's when I went and ordered the Rider-Waite for myself. So today you have an option of doing your research. When you Google it, you are going to get a list of cards that are available, and you can actually look at the pictures and see if those pictures connect to you in any way. So when you're ready and you've decided, like you have focused on about 3 or 4 decks that you would like to pick up, I would say set your intention, take a moment to see which card kind of calls out to you. Because when you see a particular image, that may start speaking to you in a lot of ways. And when you know that that's the card that's kind of speaking to you, without hesitation or a second thought, just pick up that particular card. So that's a basic way of how you say, how you can choose your deck. There is also an instance where they say it's always nice to have your tarot cards, it has to be gifted or stolen in order for it to actually give you the right answers. Is a particular thing they used to say a long time ago. So what I do right now is I just put it onto my Amazon cart, and I tell whoever wants it, I send them the link, and I tell them, if you're even getting me tarot cards, please get me this, because this is what I'm connected to. So either way, I'm getting it gifted, but at the same time, it's something that I'm connected to. So that's what I do if anyone wants to give me a tarot card. Okay, so now that you have your deck, what's the next thing that you need to do? So there are a few other important things that you need to keep in mind. Always have a sacred place where you do your tarot readings. So where I am sitting right now is not where I do my tarot reading. This is my workspace. But then I have a separate space where it's just a small table. I've just set it exclusively for tarot, and I don't do anything else. Tarot, oracle, or it's all about my spiritual journey. It's all been done there. My journaling, whatever I want to do, I want to feel a little spiritual or connected to. It's more like an altar space for me. So next is you will need to cleanse your deck. You can do a basic sage cleanse, and also set a positive ambience before a reading. So one of the things a lot of people would say, it's okay to take back-to-back readings. I have personally turned down a lot of clients because I was not in the right frame of mind, because I feel that kind of affects your reading too. So whatever you're doing, set your, a very positive attitude and a good ambience before you start your reading. Okay. So another particular thing, once you complete your reading, you will need to store your deck really well. So you can store it anyway, either. I have certain cards of mine which are there in the box. Some of it come in these the cardboard boxes, which are not very easy to keep or store. So I move that into a wooden box, or I have some kept in different pouches. So where I'm concerned, I prefer making my pouches handmade, because everything I make, I feel like my energy is there in it. So I make my pouches and I store my cards in that. So that's how you store your deck. You might have a lot of other ideas that you like to store your deck with. Go ahead, go for it. There's nothing like this is the right way or this is the wrong way. What feels right to you, just go with that. Yeah. So like I said, I speak about all this in detail in my workshops, which is the Tarot Transition Workshop. Now, I cannot stress how important this is, framing questions. So reading the tarot is something sacred. Understand the question and word it very, very carefully. A confused question will give you an answer which is quite confusing too. So a personal suggestion which a lot of readers would also give you is ask more open-ended questions, because this helps the card give you the guidance that you require and not what you want to hear. Yeah. So open-ended questions are always the best way to actually go ahead with a reading. But then once you start reading for clients, you realize that most of the questions they have are very close in because they want an answer to a particular situation. So you will need how to reframe those questions to ensure that your clients are able to get the answers they have come to you. So another thing I constantly say is, I think we need to draw boundaries in a lot of places. I do not do a reading if someone doesn't ask me to, if it doesn't concern me. I don't want to know what's happening in a person's life. I don't want to know what kind of a person that person is until and unless it is something concerning me. So do not ask questions that are not related to you. So if you feel like someone hates you, does someone hate you or not like you? You could probably ask, is there any way of, what guidance do the cards have to improve this particular relationship? And the card would tell you that. Focus on areas that are important. Asking vague questions will not help. So your questions have to be on point, otherwise your answers are not going to be accurate. Then, instead of asking, should I? So should I take up a job, or should I go in with this relationship? We say take responsibility for it and instead ask, what is the consequence if you choose this? So instead of asking, should I take a career in a particular field, or should I go in and say yes to a particular proposal that's coming? Instead of asking, should I, you could ask, what is the outcome if I say yes to this particular job or this particular relationship? So that is, you are taking responsibility and the cards are guiding you with whatever action you take and how that's going to affect you. Okay, now we get into the details. The tarot deck consists of 78 cards. We have the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. So the Major Arcana has 22 cards and the Minor Arcana has 56 cards. Okay, so the 78 cards are divided into two, the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. The word arcana itself means deep or a profound secret. Okay, just a second. Yeah. Now let's look at the Major Arcana. The Major Arcana, we would say, is the core of the deck because it kind of signifies the human journey where it starts from the Fool and completes with the World. But again, a personal suggestion, this is something that you would read everywhere. I would say you do not have to limit this to a person's journey. It can mean individual things also to you. You don't have to make it as a story. But then normally when you look at it, a lot of readers would say it signifies the human journey. But then how you're going to implement it into a reading is what will require a lot of practice. Yeah, it shows a specific concept of a person's life. So if you look at the Major Arcana, you have the Strength. I just have few of it just put out here: the Sun, the Wheel of Fortune, the Hermit, and then you end with the World. So there are 22 cards, and each of it has a lot of in-depth meaning over here. So one particular point that I will need to talk about the Major Arcana is, I always say tarot is not set in stone, but then when a Major Arcana comes in, it means something that cannot be easily changed. It's a bigger picture over here when a Major Arcana, when you're doing a reading and there's a lot of Major Arcana coming in, it means there's a bigger picture in it. It's not something that can just change if you immediately probably choose a different option. But then this is something that's been happening probably because of your past decisions, yeah, or something that is quite difficult to change. Okay. And then we have the Minor Arcana. Now, this is also a very important thing. Minor Arcana has 56 cards and 40 of it is numbered. The rest are the suits. That is, you have the 4 suits, you have the Wands, the Cups, the Swords, and the Pentacles. So you may find different names in different decks, like the Pentacles could be coins, the Wands could be sticks. So the sword could be a dagger, the cup could be a goblet. So it changes sometimes with the deck, but then concept is the tarot card will always have the major arcana, the minor arcana, and in the minor arcana, you will have the 4 suits. Okay, so these 4 suits are there, and these are the 40, just a second. Yeah, these are the 40 numbered cards. Yeah. Now, this minor arcana is under the 4 suits. You will have 4 court cards for each. So you have the major arcana, you have the minor arcana, and now under the minor arcana, each suit will have 4 court cards. You have the king, the queen, the knight, and the page. So in some decks, it could be the king, the queen, the prince, the princess. So it all changes as per the deck that you are looking at. But this is the concept. You will have 4 court cards. Yeah. Now the minor arcana kind of relates to circumstances that happen in your daily life. Yeah. These are things that can be changed, and it depends on the course of action that you take. This is why I say that tarot is a way of life to guide you through different possibilities. Yeah. So the major arcana is a bigger picture, and the minor arcana kind of looks at things that can be changed. And it depends on the course of action that you take. Okay, now we are going into the details of the minor arcana. Now, if you look at the minor arcana, we will first look at the swords. And the swords, it represents the element air. The zodiacs associated are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The swords kind of stand for your thoughts. Yeah, it represents your actions, words, and your unspoken thoughts. It talks about the mind, how it can be used both as your biggest advantage or your disadvantage. Okay, so when I go in with this, it may be a little too much if you are new to it, but then you will get the hang of it when you start practicing. So the swords represents the element of air. Don't look too much into the zodiac when you start off with your reading. You can gradually move on to the zodiacs and the other the itsy bitsy details which come in with tarot. So initially, you just need to know that this stands for your thoughts. It represents the unspoken thoughts if you're doing a reading for a client. Now, if you look at the cups stands for the element of water, and the cups talk about feelings, intuition, and more or less the cups kind of always talk about relationships and and the emotional journeys in our daily lives. Okay, so you have the swords, you have the cups. The swords stand for your thoughts, the cup stands for your intuition. Then you have pentacles as the earth element, and the pentacles kind of stand for material possessions, and it represents your daily choices in the materialistic things. Yeah. So if you look at it again, you have the 4 elements which are coming in. You have swords, you have the cups, you have the pentacles. Now, like I said, swords for thoughts, cups for your intuition, and your pentacles is for the materialistic world. And then you have the element of fire for the wands. And the wands stand for passion and motivation. Yeah. Now, if you look at most of the cards in wands, it would be most of them are out there. They're ready for action. There's always some action taking place in the wands. Yeah. There's movement there, a lot of movement that comes in your wands. So the wands represents the element of fire, and it stands for passion and motivation, and it represents your creative and destructive side. So the wands is basically your core being. Okay, so this is how the cards are divided. Now, one of the things I've made this in a little easier way because we cannot go into details of what each card means, but the numbers itself can actually give you a lot of information. So numbers in cards, like the ace of everything, stands for new beginnings. Something new is being offered. If you look at your cards, you'll always see probably the hand of the universe kind of offering you something. And that's like, it's the beginning of something. And then the 2 stands for partnership. The 3 is talking about development. If you see, it's a step-by-step process. So the 3 kind of stands for development, and 4 stands for stability. If you can see, 5 kind of always stands for conflict. If you look at all the cards, you will see there's like some kind of conflict happening. And it's like the conflict is now being set aside, and now in the 6, you find harmony. So I'm just going back. Now you start something. There's a partnership in something that you've started. Let's just take it. It could be a venture or a relationship. Yeah. So you've started a relationship. The 2s kind of may mean, some kind of partnership in the relationship. Probably you have taken it a step higher. You've probably moved in with a person, or we got engaged to the person, or married to the person. So this is, I'm talking from a relationship point of view, and this is the same whether it be you're talking about your career or any other question. And after you start something, you're going into the partnership, and that you are developing that into something. And then you find a sense of stability because you have developed that partnership and you found that stability there. And then once, life is not always going to be a bed of red roses, right? So what happens is now there's conflict coming in. But now, after the conflict, the conflict is something that it was easily sorted out. You're going in for harmony. Now 6 stands for harmony. Now 7 stands for reflection or assessing a situation. So in 6, you've created the harmony, and in 7, you're trying to assess why did the conflict appear? What is the reason for it? You're assessing the entire situation. And now 8 stands for success. Now, since you've been able to reflect and assess a particular situation, it takes you a step closer to being successful in it. 9 talks about fulfillment. Now, things are happening on a very nice scale for you. And 9 talks a lot about fulfillment, and 10 talks about the completion. So this is how it is being numbered, the cards. Yeah. With this, you are aware of the basics of tarot. Yeah. Now, this will help you to, this is just going to help you. Like I said, this is not going to teach you the entire thing. This is just giving you a skeleton of how you can actually approach your cards. And tarot is vast. And after more than a decade of practice, any tarot reader would still tell you that they're learning something new every single time. Yeah. So just another particular few tips that I have about your tarot is, when you start with tarot, always ensure that you keep a journal. Okay. And when you buy your deck, when you get a new deck, place them under your pillow to bond with them. You can probably keep them in your handbag if you're going out for work. So I kind of have different decks for everything. So this is basically, I call this my fun deck because this is very easy to carry. And sometimes tarot doesn't have to be very serious, and you need to be very absolutely serious about everything that you do. So this is something like, someone tells me, okay, listen, can you do a reading? And I'm actually not in it. So I just tell them, okay, let's just pick a random card and see what the cards have to say. And you can just do a basic reading from wherever you are. It could be a coffee shop. It could be anything. Your cards are already charged. It's there with me every time. So my cards are already charged with my energy, and I can just randomly just pick a card, and my cards will have a message for for the person who's asking. So that is one. And this is like I said, I keep my Rider-Waite cards. I keep it for my personal readings, as in I don't do readings for myself, but then when I am doing a meditation with tarot, or if I am probably trying to get a little more meaning into tarot, I use these cards to get more information for myself. Yeah. And okay, now one of the one easy tip that I have over here is from your deck, search for the Hermit card. Okay, the card next to it represents what will help you gain insight to your present situation. So this is just, tarot has a lot of these tips and tricks where if you feel like you're not ready to do a reading, you can just shuffle your cards and pull out the Hermit card, or you can pull out any card. And the Hermit now normally stands for something where the card next to it is like the insight into your present situation. So you're able to access it well. So you're not doing a proper reading, you're just pulling out cards and just, trying to understand the cards better and have fun with it. Yeah. So this is about the tarot. Just a second. So I just wanted to know if you have any questions about whatever has been spoken right now. If you have any questions, if you would like to see the cards, if there's something that you'd like to know about.
Hello.
So, hi, Sushma.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, you have mentioned regarding the framing of the questions, it should be open and not closed-end. So can you just give a sample, how should a question be framed?
Okay, so now when you start reading, like I said, when you start reading for clients, they are going to definitely need answers to a particular topic. But then as a reader, if you want to gain more insight into the question, now a person may come and say like, like, I'll just give you an example of some of the readings that I get, like this relationship of mine is not like, most of the clients who come will either be with a career or a relationship question that they come across. Most of it would be that. And they would come and say like, the relationship is not going well. And, I want to know whether this will work out. Now, you have no idea about the client, but at the same time, if you have to just pick out one particular card for this, it's not going to give you too much of answers. So then you just talk to your client and say, let's just first see how the situation is. What is the situation? And you pick out one card for that. And then you go ahead and you ask, what should your client, like what should this person do in order to make this relationship work out? So the cards give you a guidance for that. Instead of asking like, this is not working out. Will this relationship work out? And then if you get an immediate no, there are a lot of times where you will get an immediate no. But I think when a client approaches you, you need to also give them a little insight into it. So that's the time you kind of ask a question like, so what advice do the cards have about, so and so a person making a better decision with a relationship, or what should this person work on? Is there something that this person should be aware about? So these are a lot of questions that you can bring in based on the question that the client asks. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely it does make sense. And one more question, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Okay, I just wanted to know, there are many clients who go to the tarot readers and they ask regarding, okay, when will they become pregnant? The ladies, they will ask.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes.
So what do you suggest for such questions? Because definitely it is not in the tarot reader's hands.
Exactly. And that is a very tricky question. So I make it very clear. So when clients approach me, I've had, like when I was doing a reading, the question was entirely different. This girl was asking about her career. And then for me, there was no future shown in her career. And it kept, the intuition that kept coming was that she would get pregnant, where she was not planning to get pregnant. So she said, no, Rajeshwari, I'm not even thinking of getting pregnant. I think it's going to take another 5 years time for it. And then I said, then probably let's just, ask this question later about your career. So when a person comes and asks me like, we are trying to get pregnant and, is there some way, what should I do for it? I'm like, listen, tarot is not your doctor here. That you need to go in and talk to your the doctors or a professional about it. If at all my cards have something to say about it, I will tell you, but I'm not going to do a question based on that. So I don't take health related questions at all, because one thing is they will come back to you. It'll bite you back. They will come back to you and they will say a lot of things. But then as a tarot reader, if you're doing it for someone very close, you will actually be able to see when a person is asking about health, you will actually know whether it is the person's heart that has been affected, or if it is the person's mental health that's been affected. The cards will actually talk to you when you start practicing. But then to unknown people, especially to your clients, I would personally say do not even do it, because I would say they're never going to be satisfied with the answer they get. And you're going to be digging in deeper. One, you're going to be wasting more time on that. You have about 30 minutes or 45 minutes for a particular client. They will start asking more questions based on that. So you get your questions out very clearly initially, and then tell them very clear, I do not do health related questions. If at all something does come in, I might give you an advice with what the cards say, but I'm not going to dive deep into it. That's what I do, and it's worked for me very
well. Thank you.
You're welcome, Sushma. Anything else?
I will just keep on seeing this your workshop maybe later on.
Absolutely. So, Sushma, do you have tarot cards with you too?
Yeah, Rider Waves.
Okay, the Rider-Waite. So, what I would, you could also, like I said, I normally keep my Rider-Waite for my personal collection. Once you start doing tarot, you also start collecting a lot of decks. And I would always say have one extra one just to, kind of explore the cards a little more when you're outside, carry it along with you, just see what the cards, when you're sitting alone, things like, you could just pick out something that cards will actually start talking to you. The cards will have something or the other kind of saying, like right now I've got the, can you see this? Oh yeah, the Hierophant. Yeah. So basically the cards are just saying like, the Hierophant is someone where someone's talking, the Hierophant is talking and the others are kind of listening. Yeah. And right now that's what I'm doing. And my cards are just saying that like, okay, are you, kind of saying something? So these are my fun cards. So I kind of say, just keep picking out and see what messages they have for you.
I think the cards are really very appealing to everyone, especially if you are a tarot reader. Because recently I was out, I was traveling, and on the airport, when I saw the tarot cards, I was really, I want to pick up this, I want to take this. And ultimately I ended up taking 2 decks.
So I have another one, which so this is a little more. So if you've been practicing tarot for a little longer time, this is something I really like too. So I'll just show you. These cards are, okay. So this is the other set. So this is a little bigger than the mini cards. So if you see this, in this, one of the mistakes, what happens is like, I had a student of mine who had picked up the same one, but then they have the same one, they have it in oracles also. So just always ensure when you're picking up tarot, there's always, like I mentioned, you have your set of 78 cards should be there. So this is something that I also connect to. I use it for my readings with clients.
Okay.
So not everyone would connect.
Once you charge the cards in the morning, you can use it for a full day.
So for me, what I do is I just keep it under my pillow. This is there under my pillow. I don't keep charging this or anything. What I do is, because this is always there with me, and once in a while, you don't have to even do it like, there's nothing like the charge lasts for a particular day. It's just that you will know, you will feel when your cards stop talking to you, when your cards are not giving out the right energy, you will know it, that you want to actually recharge your cards a little. It's like we taking time off. So then I keep these cards away for a while, and then probably when I'm doing my cleansing, I keep all my cards together and I do a cleansing. So a sage cleansing, whatever kind of, so I always say, back here in, are you in India, Sushma?
No, I'm not in India.
Okay, so here in India, we don't get the Californian sage very easily. I mean, we do get it, but then a lot of people say it's Californian sage and it's not the exact one that comes. So what happens is, I kind of say, in our houses, you would have the camphor You would have the incense sticks for sure. Here in India, I think most of them will have, the incense sticks and camphors in everyone's houses. So I said that itself is okay to actually do it. You don't have to, kind of do anything that's entirely different, whatever you feel very close to. It can be as simple as, probably you lighting a lamp, or you're lighting a candle and you're just keeping it over there and drawing the energy to the card as you're doing your prayers. It's just as simple as that. So there's no right or wrong way of doing it. You don't have to, sage cleanse it or anything. I don't do it often. I do it once a month, probably mostly during the new moon is when I kind of do a proper cleansing, and sometimes during the full moon too. So just do a proper cleansing and just leave it. That's about it. You'll know when your cards kind of don't. So I've had instances where the cards actually sometimes don't give me, the right answer. So then I know my cards are kind of tired and, they've gathered a lot of energy and I need to get rid of it.
Okay, what can be the reason that, at times what happens, you are all of a sudden getting too much attached to the cards and you are, I will read this, I will do the reading for so-and-so person, but, and there comes a time when you don't want to touch the cards. The cards are just kept like that.
Fine. It's absolutely fine. So when I started when I was 16, I think, like I said, I was a psychic medium initially, and I wasn't actually, though I was picking out cards, I was actually just getting messages and saying it. I wasn't even actually interpreting the cards because I didn't know how to interpret the cards. It was only the guidebook we had then. And then what happened was, after a period of around 2-3 years, I didn't touch the cards for, I think, probably another 3 or 4 years. Like, I would just do readings for myself or for family who come and ask me, but then I did not want to actually go and touch the cards, and it's absolutely fine. You don't have to worry about it. Your cards will call you back. Your cards itself will call you back, and you will, and the bond you kind of have with your cards after that, it's like, it's something very connected. It's like you have so much of energy between each other. And even now, as a tarot reader itself, like, I don't do readings on the weekdays. It's only during the weekends I do my reading. Weekdays, I don't touch my cards. Very rarely, if at all something is needed, I touch my cards. But then otherwise, it's only during the weekend. And before I sit for a reading, I do a cleansing, because I'm not doing a reading for myself. It's for another person. So I cleanse the cards. And once I finish reading, I cleanse the cards again before I put it in, because I don't want that energy going back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anything else? Anyone else?
I wanted to ask you something.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so you were talking about the number 4 as a stability card, but for example, and the 4 of Cups in some cards is not a very nice card.
So I will tell you. So you are looking at the swords, right?
No, the 4 of Cups. For example, in the everyday week. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. So now that is the number that comes in. Okay, now I told you 4 stands for stability, right?
Yeah.
So now when I have to interpret this card, it's like this person is just not happy with what the person already has.
Mm-hmm.
So there is this sense of stability, but then the energy from the card you get is a little different. So the number 4 stands for stability, but then this person is refusing to accept it because the person is kind of trying to look out for something more. It's trying to, or even if something is being offered, they're too, what do you say, content with what they have that they don't want to accept anything more.
Right. Okay, I understand now. Okay.
So it's just about how you interpret it. It's and if the 4 of Swords also. Now, if you look at the swords will have a lot of different meanings. Like the 9 and 10, which stands for fulfillment and completion. The swords do not look anything like fulfillment or completion. So, but then that also. Now, if I look at the 10 of Swords, it's a very small card. I'm not sure if you can see this.
Yeah,
you see a man.
Dramatic, isn't it?
So you see a man who's been stabbed, and that also is a type of completion, because he's reached the end of the cycle. He's been going through so much, and there's nothing more, because he's reached rock bottom. There's nothing more to it. So that's the completion of that stage. Now things either, you drown with it or you come back up for it. So then you'd pick up a next card. So with tarot, this is a tip that I kind of give a lot of my students is, you need to always kind of open your card. As in, when I say open, I don't mean, just opening it. Now I've picked out the 10 of Swords for a particular question, but if I want to know more detail about it, I need to open this card out. So then what I do is I probably would pick out, let me just shuffle this. And I pick out probably, whatever, how many ever cards that, kind of comes out. Okay. Now, this is the card I got for a particular question the client would have asked me. And then I open out this card and I get this. This is the 3 of Pentacles. Okay. So now I know that this person has been giving too much. Yes. This person has been giving too much. And in fact, more than what he should be giving out probably. And that is why he's, being let down. Or it can mean, if it's a relationship question or something, it's just that he gives so much to the relationship, or he thought that he was giving a little too much. Yes, but then actually it wasn't much. And that is what kind of brought him to this situation. And then I take out another card to open this. And then I see the 3 of Wands. Yes. Now, when I look at the 3 of Wands, it's like a person who's moving to a new direction. So whatever new direction this person took, it didn't serve him very well. Now, if it was a relationship thing, he kind of probably broke up with someone and kind of moved on with someone else. And he gave a little more than what he should be giving. And that ended up this way. And that's how you create a story with it.
Mm-hmm. Can you clarify, for example, a love question related with Pentacles, or with, with Pentacles, because Pentacles talk about more material gains, right?
Yes. So now when you shuffle your card, it's not necessary for you to, if you're probably asking about a relationship, it's not necessary the cups have to turn up. You may also get the Major Arcana. You may get the Pentacles. So it is all about, so it's only when you start working with your, so have you been working with tarot cards?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So so I would say when you keep working with the cards, you will actually know. So initially when you start off and there's a particular question that comes in and you get a Major Arcana, mostly it gets a little tricky to answer that. Because, for example, like how you mentioned, you're asking a relationship question. And if I am probably getting, let's see what card comes out. Okay, I got the 3 of Cups, so it would be very easy to actually interpret this. But otherwise, let's see what are the other cards if it's not a cup. Let me just pull out a card rather. Okay, so now if I get this in a relationship, okay, I would say that the person is actually juggling a lot of things. Probably now, since it means a little materialistic things, it could mean that this person is juggling the relationship and his career, or his business, which in turn may not work out very well for the relationship. So now this is my meaning. Now, when you look at this card, you will have an entirely different meaning. So I would always say, when you start your tarot, keep away your guidebook and have a journal where you write down your first insights and then move on and then read the guidebook. So then you will be able to kind of look at what the cards are kind of saying to you. You tend to connect to the cards better. Yeah. And I remember, like, initially when we started, so even now, I always find it, I kind of pause when I get the quote cards, because the quote cards signify a lot of things. So I kind of take a pause when a quote card comes in a reading. I'm okay with, now if you are probably looking at it, and this is a card which used to confuse me a lot initially. So imagine someone is probably, kind of asking about, again, their career. And then you get this, the Temperance. I would really find it very difficult initially to actually interpret this card. But now having a Major Arcana come in is pretty interesting, because they're talking about something bigger in it. Yes. So when I look at the Temperance card, I would probably kind of look at him and, if it's a career, I would say that this person has taken his time to get where he is. And now he's trying to kind of, whatever he's learned over a period of time, he wants to put it back into this particular career that he's coming into. So all his experiences, so that's your Major Arcana, all his experience that he's done in his business, he's kind of taking it, or in his career, he's taking it into his new job. So that is going to be quite beneficial for him. Yeah. So this is just on working with cards that you will start realizing that each one has a different meaning. And I may not give you the same explanation when I pick it out another time. It may be entirely different because the spread itself would be different. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajeshwari.
You're welcome. Yes. And anything else? Okay. That's the main things. I think I've covered almost everything about it.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And just a reminder that the services are posted on Pranalink. If you go to Pranalink and look for her, you'll see her services online. And we ask you to give any feedback that could help us in the future. We really appreciate your time and your energy.
And for all the participants, we will be emailing you a copy of the recording of today, as well as it'll have a link to a shop where you can sign up for some remote sessions, personal remote sessions with her. So thank you everyone for attending.